This AI app builder just launched itself on the AI coding scene. And it's not just some startup with a little bit of capital. No, sir. It's a behemoth currently generating more than $100 million a year that is ready to take over AI coding. And so today, my friends, I'm going to test it out to see if it competes with these trending AI coding tools and if you should consider using it yourself. So what's a better way to test it out than to build a cool app together? So before we dive in, let's figure out what we're actually going to build. Okay, so for this challenge, I was actually thinking, let's not create something original. Let's create a user experience that people already know about, so that they have something to kind of compare it to see how well this app builder works. And so that's why I decided to create a simplified version of Instagram. Oh, great idea, Christian. You're gonna try to replicate a billion-dollar company. Well, we're gonna create a simplified version of it, but I want it to be comparable. And because we have a lot to work on, let's go. This, my friends, is Horizons. It's an AI coding platform that's out there to compete in the market, and it was created by Hostinger. Now, for those of you who don't know what Hostinger is, it is actually one of the leading website building platforms. But it actually started off as a hosting provider. And the interesting thing here is that their website building services actually include a full suite of services that basically people starting their businesses can use. It's incredibly no code friendly, meaning for non-technical people. And so it's really interesting that they're making this move coming into the AI coding space, because obviously people want to build awesome apps. So I'm going to jump in and start rebuilding Instagram. But before that, I wanted to thank Hostinger, because not only did they give me early access to this product, but they also accepted to sponsor this video when I reached out to them asking if they would. And what that means for you is that if you go to hostinger.com/nocode, you'll be able to get 10% off any plan you'd like. You'll just have to apply the coupon code, which is NOCODE, all caps, at checkout. So thank you so much, Hostinger. But unfortunately for Hostinger, if I don't like this platform, I'm gonna tell them live here to you guys, because I'm not gonna hold back what I actually think. So I'm gonna jump in here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is to write out a first prompt. Now, the first comment here is that I always get impressed with how these things just go out there and start writing code, start downloading packages that allow me to basically build out an entire interface. I do like the look. This is exactly the interface that I'm used to in other tools, so I think they did a really good job here. Up at the top here, I can see you can switch between desktop and mobile view, which is great. A little teaser, I already see that there is the Supabase integration, which I like to see because it's super, super important. Feedback, this is cool. I don't see this usually in other platforms. So yeah, I think this is really interesting start. But you know, it all comes down to what it's actually gonna give us as a result. Excellent, look at this. I like the design. It looks exactly like Instagram. And for the moment, it's really just using very simple things. So at the moment, what I would do is I would also check it out on the phone. Okay, it looks pretty mobile friendly as well, which is great. So I've now closed it, and the first thing I'll do is ask for it to create a better logo. So it's not just design, there's actually code behind it, but it is just a front end. And we're gonna talk about how to actually connect the back end to it and how we can make all of this real. Cool little logo here, I like it a lot. And now we're gonna actually usually get guided by what they say here inside the comments, but so far so good, man. I'm really like pleasantly surprised with this experience for the moment. So let's go ahead and check out what it's saying. Updated the name to PicTalk, share your moments. I love it. So we're gonna add a couple of pages, and then from there, we're gonna move into the next section. It's telling me here that it is creating a full sort of profile page, including a place to navigate to it. So check that out. Now we have the profile page. Let's click on this. Look at that. Okay, wow. I really just fed it a pretty simple prompt and it's done this. So I'm very happy with this for the moment. These things don't currently work. Could you create a simple page to post new images from? Okay, and now on the top we see a little plus. Oh, it actually works. So I can grab my latest thumbnail here, open it up. Excellent. AI automation is cool. Go ahead and share this post. So I didn't actually post, but that's pretty cool. Maybe that can be the next thing I do. When I post a new picture, I would like for it to show up on the feed and on my profile. Look at that. My God. And then I can like it. It's in my profile. This is working too well. Let's break this, because usually we have some issues at this point. Could you please allow me to edit my profile page? Now, one thing that often happens in AI coding is that the models are very ambitious. So you kind of have to control AI and not build out too many features on the front end, because in the back end, we're gonna have to connect all of these to make them functional. So I highly recommend that you kind of focus on the minimum viable product. Okay, back on the feed. I'm happy it brings me to the feed every time. Edit profile, look at that. And now I can edit things. So let's see if it saves. Christian, and then full name, no code plus AI plus automation. Look at that, it updated it. But I did notice that it wanted me to have an image URL when I edited here. So right here, avatar URL. I would like for people to just be able to upload it. So I'm just gonna say that. Okay, instead of an avatar URL, please have an upload image functionality for the profile picture. Click change photo. Let's go ahead and see. So I'm gonna come back on my profile, I'm gonna edit, and now change photo. Man, it's kind of just working. Let me have this picture. Yeah, why not? I'll act like that's me. Save changes, and it saves here. I'm impressed. Okay, so now let's maybe go back to the feed and get the comment section to work. Okay, so this is the point at which I'm creating these smaller adaptations I want. I want this app to function the way I want before I take it to the next step, where we're going to connect the database, and after that, we're also going to create authentication. But what's authentication? Authentication is log in, log out, forgot my password. Let's see if this comments functionality now works. Oh, it works. You are awesome. Let's see if that worked. You are awesome from photography lover. I thought my name was Christian P. So let's try to fix that as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to change about that is that when we click on comment, I don't actually want it to pop up like this. I want it to happen underneath automatically. So I'll just say that. And this is one of the things I often do, which is like, here's what's currently happened. I would like that to actually happen. Can you fix it for me? So kind of like state that you're seeing, state that you would like to see, and then the AI is usually pretty good at creating that. Now, when it comes to AI, the way that you speak to it is literally the results that you will get. So I'll bring you through, and I'm really surprised we haven't hit any bugs. So for the moment, step 1, 10 out of 10 for horizons. But obviously now we're about to go into the deeper stuff. And if we get too blocked, don't worry, I'll continue shooting the video and just kind of like finish up kind of my review of it. Now let's see how this functionality actually has been updated. Look at that right here. Excellent, excellent. And it adds it here, perfect. Since I updated my name, I expect the posts to have the same change, right? So let's go ahead and click on that, and then we're gonna jump into the next stage. Now, I'm gonna continue going a little bit here, but I quickly wanna bring you to where you're interested in getting, which is basically, let's start attaching a backend. Let's do some more complicated stuff. Let's break this thing. My goal is to break things because when we're AI coding, we need to understand that honestly, things break. And at that point, I have a methodology. I have lots of different steps that can be used to troubleshoot it, starting with super simple steps, just like fix it, all the way to like actually like checking where in the process something is breaking, so we can see like at least what the problem we're having is. Because yeah, AI coding has some things which are outside of our control, right? It's AI that's writing the code. So the better that we get at talking to it like we're a designer or like we're a developer, the better it's gonna be at actually responding. You don't wanna get too technical, but there's kind of a middle ground that's perfect. So let's see, let's make another post now and see what's up. I love life. Excellent, it has now posted. And my name is correct. Let's go! And we see both on the profile page, just so cool. And we see there was one comment. This is really cool, guys. It's working. By the way, if you started building a project and you find yourself stuck in the middle of it, then I highly recommend that you check out our program. We have a program that's going to teach you not just how to build your first app with AI coding tools, but also how to actually go out there and get first paying customers. You have to apply. We do not accept everyone. It's called the AI Coding Bootcamp, and in 30 days, we're going to transform you from the idea person into an action-taking person who's able to take advantage of opportunities when they actually come. And to be clear, this is for people who have absolutely no technical skills at all. In the last cohort, we built 22 startups, and only 2 of those people had previous backgrounds in coding. So if you're interested in this program, check it out in the description. Let's get back to the video. So now let's just keep it at that for the moment. I'm going to connect the database. Now, what am I going to use? Well, as you can see from here on the top right-hand side, Supabase is the platform I'm going to use. But what's Supabase? Well, Supabase is the database we're going to be using, meaning that you can store data like the images in your post or your profile name or the number of likes that a specific post has. But Supabase is actually not only just a database. It's also the place that we're going to be able to do authentication, meaning creating the authenticated users, log in, log out, sign in, sign out, lost password, etc. And on top of that, it's going to allow us to do things like edge functions or API connections, which is basically bringing more complicated features inside of your app. Now, the first thing I need to do once I'm ready to connect the database and I'm happy with what's happening over here is to jump inside my Supabase account and create a new project. So I have a handful of projects here, mostly test projects. gonna go ahead and create a new one. And here it's gonna ask for the name, pick talk, and then a password, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and just a couple signs, make it safe. I don't know, it's not that safe, doesn't matter. Create a new project. And now we're just gonna wanna wait a couple of minutes. We're gonna want to collect two things, the public key over here. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna put it on the side. This is something that you should not share with anyone because they will have access to your database if they do. And then also a little bit further under here, there's also the URL of the project. You can get access to these at any point, but since we're waiting a little bit here, it is still loading. We have to wait for this to properly load. I'm just gonna basically, copy these to the side and I'll be feeding them towards the end. You'll see, we first prepare the project within Supabase and then we connect it to Hostinger Horizons. But actually, as I wait for that, I'm gonna come into Horizons and tell it, hey, we're gonna connect authentication. And here I'm gonna tell it, I'm ready to connect the database and authentication. Which one should I do first? Is basically what I'm asking. So it's saying first authentication. And this is actually a really good point. You want to set up authentication before you attach your database because sometimes an experience can be fully based on an authenticated user or not. And so in this case, I only want people who are basically signed in users to be able to, you know, post pictures, that those pictures are under their account. That's the reason why. And so yeah, it's saying, hey, why don't you just start with authentication and then we connect the database, which is great. And both of those actually happen within Supabase, which is what's so great about Supabase. So let's check it out. Yes, the project status is now ready to go. So the first thing I want to do before I attach authentication is to deactivate. Here on the left-hand side, we see authentication, and we basically want to turn off email notifications. So if I go here into sign in, sign up, once I'm clicking on this, come a little bit down here in email, and I unselect this, and then I save, boom. This will allow me to basically build out this app without having to log in, log out every single time that I get into it, right? Because every time I make a change, it's gonna ask me to log back in and that's a real pain. So we're gonna skip that. So first I deactivate that and then we're basically gonna come here and we're gonna just follow the instructions. Now to connect, we basically go here to the top right, click on this. And the first thing we're gonna do is go inside of our project. This is We Are No Code. And I'm going to refresh here. And hopefully we see PickTalk. There you go. So then we're going to connect. Let's start by setting up authentication. And look at this, a really nice screen that reflects the brand color. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on sign up, create an account. And now the cool thing is that as you can see, it's also created the log out functionality. So it has basically added the pages and now it is basically telling me that I, am logged in. And the proof of that is that I now have access to the feed and also to my profile. Here it's recommending, would you like me to implement the database integration next? Yes, please. So at this point, I can get people to log into this app, and now I'm really gonna check that the authentication happened correctly. It's also, look at this, we have an error, excellent. Let's start by updating the necessary components, Supabase storage, excellent. Into changes, I've updated the profile context to use Supabase profile management. Now let's update the feed component. Would you like to proceed with these updates? Let's first fix this bug. So the first thing we'll do if we hit a problem like this is just to click on fix, right? And 1 out of 2 times, it'll actually fix it. So the second way I would try to fix this is by rolling back the app. At any point, I can come and click on one of these undos and it can basically roll me back to the last one, which is restore right here. And then I'm going to just change the prompt, right, that I'm feeding it. See if a different prompt will basically give me better results. If that does not work, I usually will try to use a different approach saying, hey, what you tried to implement didn't work. Could you provide me with an alternative solution to this problem? And so there are a number of steps that I'll take. And the last step is basically trash the project, burn everything, and move to Hawaii. So the first thing I notice here is there are no more images. And that might be because, it is properly set up in Supabase and now it cleared the database. So let's go ahead and check out what's happening here. Let's check out the actual database, which is the structure of all this. Look at that. It basically has a table for comments, for likes, for saved posts, for profiles, and they're all linked to posts and to an authenticated user, which means that it's actually created these different tables: posts, profiles, saved posts. So it's created all the tables that I need. And also if you go to authentication, you can see that there's one user here. So authentication is working. The database seems to be connected, but the only way to really test that is to come back in here and to create a new post and see whether or not that's saving in the database. So if fingers crossed, this is the part where things can go wrong. Again, post something. I love automating businesses. We have broken it. Ask Horizons to fix this error. Okay, so we're taking the first step of troubleshooting. And this, my friends, is completely normal. One of the best lessons I've learned is to be persistent, is to try to not make the same mistakes over and over and try to push it. If you can't go in the front door, try to go through the side window. If you can't go through the back top window, if not, there might be something you can go underneath and whatever. You know, the point is that we want to find alternative solutions. So let's see what is happening now. Let's go ahead and what is it telling me? First of all, I want to understand what is happening. I'll help you fix the error of create post component. The issue is that set posts is being passed as a prop, but it's not being provided by the parent component. Interesting. Let's update the create post component to use Supabase for post creation. Okay, great. Tells me it works. Let's go ahead and test it. It seems like now we have a different problem. So here I'm going to say, when I create a new post, click on the share post button. The button changes to say posting and then changes back to share post. It should actually send the post information to get saved in Supabase in the post table and then redirect the user to the feed. So I'm being very, very specific about what's happening and what I actually want to happen. And let's see if it can figure this out. It's brought me back here. Let's see what happens. Let's upload a different image. And it failed. Excellent. So the first thing I'd do is figure out what's actually happening. Is this being saved in the table? So let's go ahead and check out the post table. We have a post. No, we do not have a post here. Interesting. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab an image. Let's see, fingers crossed. I don't know, it seems like it worked, but now we're not seeing anything inside of the feed. Okay, but let's see if that actually worked. Oh, look at this, inside the posts now. We have a first post. We succeeded, my friends. So at least we know that this is somewhat working. We're gonna have to continue to test it out though, because it seems like on the front end, it's not showing anything. Okay, now the post is saving inside the database, but I'm not seeing it on the front end. Okay, we also have an error here. So I'm gonna try to fix this error, which is in the profile page. We'll see if that's kind of linked to it, but I'm really happy that this thing now should be, yeah, look at that. Now we have a second post as well. So it is working, it's connected to the database. This is actually a big win. And so, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this because usually we have these errors all the time. But it's a little bit harder sometimes to fix them. So I'm quite happy with this result. Let's go back and check out the profile before we try to fix this other issue. Okay, hey and hey world. Okay, it seems like there's some kind of a display issue with the image. So let's see if we can edit it. If I change the picture here, okay, it seems like it's recommended square image max 5 megabytes. I love that. So it's actually already giving me the settings of what's happening on the back end. So I think it might just be the fact that the images I'm trying to upload are kind of too heavy. So let's see if I grab one of those images, I reduce it. So I would go to tiny PNG for this. I'm going to see whether or not I can upload my profile picture here and whether it works. Okay, that is not the problem. Okay, so it seems like there's some storage issues or display issues with the images that I'm uploading. Please check it out. Let's click on that and see what it does. Okay, so I'm saying now I'd like to see the posts that are in the database be shown on the feed. So now I saw it appear quickly, but then it disappeared. So I'm actually gonna just say, hey, I saw it blink, but it disappeared. Okay, so I tried to do this a couple times, didn't work. So what I'm gonna do is actually restore here. Okay, so it's not working. And I also noticed that on the profile page, it is uploading, we're saving it and all that, but basically it's not showing properly, as you can see. So I'm basically gonna say, okay, the image are not displaying correctly on the profile or the feed. And what I'm gonna do is take a screenshot of what's actually happening so I can just feed it straight in. And I can do that by just clicking right here and uploading my screenshot. Okay, it seems like we still have this error here. The images still don't display correctly. Okay, let's just say that, but also let's come in here and see what's actually being stored inside of our database, right? So it seems like the image URL, if we were to take this image URL to copy the cell content and to come here and to put this here, can we actually see the image? Aha, you see? This is what is happening. So here I say, okay, it seems like the image URL is incorrect. When I post it in the browser, here's what it gives me. And I basically put the status 404. This should help it understand what's actually happening. Now, there are a couple of other strategies that I'm about to show you if this doesn't work. And this is actually a perfect opportunity to teach you on how to error handle. And here it tells me that the storage buckets are not properly configured. Okay, cool. Well, let me know what you want me to do. We'll figure it out together. Let's go ahead and create a new image because the ones I uploaded obviously did not upload properly. So here I'll go ahead and grab that. Okay, the moment of truth. Hey, look at that. It actually works. This is not bad. Let's see if we can replicate that now. Open picture of me, share that post. We're not actually seeing that yet. So we are progressing here, but also there's still some issues. So let's quickly go and check it out what's actually happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and now refresh here. Okay, now if I go ahead and grab these, let's go ahead and click and put them here. There you go. So we see that now it is at least saving the images properly. And let's come back here. Okay, it's saving them properly inside the database. Now we have the posting mechanism that has broken again. So let's just say post creation has broken again. Please fix it without affecting other parts. So you see, slowly but surely, I am working through this. And don't worry, I'm not gonna bore you. We're soon going to move to the next section. I just wanna show you how I'm kind of going through these different things to see where the error is actually happening, right? So let's keep going here. Something's happening here because now we are happy with what's happening inside of the actual database, but it seems like there's some kind of an issue on the front end, meaning that here it is not showing the feed images. So I really want to fix this first. If I'm not able to in just 1 or 2 more efforts, then we'll move on to the next section just so I can teach you how to do it. So here's another trick. You go here and you go inside this view, and in every website, when you open it up, you see it appeared, but then it disappeared. I can right click, I can go to inspect, and I can kind of see what's happening here. You can click, this is basically the developer's console. Now, I don't know how to write code, but I do know one thing. If I go inside console here, click on that, I'm gonna be able to start seeing the console logs, right? Seems like there's fetch errors on this page. So I can check out what's happening on the front end just through this. I can grab these and just say, hey, this is what's happening. Could you please check it out? So now we're gonna basically close this back out. So I'm gonna go back into Hostinger, and then I'm going to say, okay, here is what is happening, and I'm basically just gonna dump that. I could just screenshot it really as well, but it's gonna be a little bit better if I just grab what I actually just found inside that console. And now, let's see what it does, my friends. Moment of truth. Oh, it's working, my friends. Look at this. We finally got it working, and now it displays all of the images. Mamma mia, so amazing. Man, it feels great when you have these little breakthroughs, you know, you just break through things. But again, there's several steps to troubleshooting. So now the last thing I'll fix is that I see here that basically the profile information is not properly on the post because it seems like my profile picture is not saving properly. It seems like I'm unable to upload my picture correctly to my profile. Please fix this. Here is, and I'm again gonna just take a little picture of this and kind of show it to them. So, hey AI, check this out. I have an issue here. Please help. Okay, let's come here and let's see whether or not we can change this. Okay, so that didn't work. So what am I gonna do next? Well, I would again come here. I would come to profiles, and then let's see. You see, okay, it seems like it's not syncing properly with this either. So what we would have to do is continue to do the same thing that I did for the posts for the profile. So as I told you, I was able to break it, yes, and we were able to solve lots of problems and progress really nicely. I would continue to actually build this thing out if I was just normally building this. But here, the great thing is we already kind of know what's happening. It's a problem that's happening between the database and the front end. And so the first thing I would do is basically say, hey, it seems like it's not syncing with the database. Can you make sure that the profile information is synced with the database? And then we would make sure that it's showing properly on the front, etc., etc. Once I have this app looking exactly like I want to, I have the profile, I can create new posts, and I have a feed that people can scroll through where all of the new posts show up here. The next thing I'm gonna be doing is basically, I'm gonna want to connect this to a domain, right? So how do we actually publish it? And how do we connect it to a custom domain? I'm glad you did not ask, my friends, because I'm gonna show you. On the top right here, there is a button called Publish. So this may seem a little silly, but when you click on Publish, it's basically a one-click publish experience. And by default, it's gonna be hosted by, guess who? Hostinger. So you're gonna have a custom URL that's created just for you. And if you click on View Site, it's gonna open it up in a new viewer. So now we can basically have the same experience where we can sign up, create an account. So I'm gonna go ahead and create an account. Once I log in, never save this password, please. I can see everything inside of my Instagram. I can go here. I can also post, this is live. So now I can do a bunch of stuff. I can come, I can start liking things. I can leave comments. I can also choose to share it. But basically, once that's done, that's awesome. But we actually may want to connect it to a custom domain, right? So I may not want to have it on light gray butterfly 922107. This is just a domain that it's giving me so I can go out and test it. I might want to actually get a domain. And this is actually where Hostinger is pretty cool, because you can actually get domains directly through Hostinger. That's one thing that I think is going to be super interesting. If you put hello mom123, you can actually go ahead and find and buy domains directly from within. Look, hello mom123 is actually a hotline to get help from your mom. But it's available here, and you can buy it directly here, and this makes it so much easier than like buying a domain separately and then connecting it. So I could just click on this, and then I can just go to the next, and then I could just choose the billing mechanism, and check this out. It's incredibly cheap. It's basically giving me a huge discount to buy it for 2 years or 3 years. So it's really, really cool. So I'm not actually gonna buy a domain right now. I'm gonna cancel this. I'm gonna go back. But I do want to talk about a couple of additional things here. So let's talk about pricing. Then I want to talk about the things I wish I had seen inside the platform that they could improve. And we're also going to talk about some of the actual additional services they have. So let's go ahead and do that. So here, if you come down to the pricing page, you're going to see that you get basically 100 messages for $19.99. I probably used about 40 messages to create what you saw throughout this presentation. So this is actually really good. They even have one for 50. You would only really have to pay about $10 a month to be able to generate 50 additional messages. It's also cancel at any time, so there's no problem with that. And what I love is that they do the hosting for you as well. So this is not just for the builder. Usually you would have to have the builder, then you would have to pay separately for additional services, including hosting and other things like that. But here, what's cool is that there are things that are included. And this is where a platform like Hostinger kind of has an edge over some of the other AI coding platforms, where it's like, they basically have like payments. You can accept payments directly through the platform. You have free hosting for a month. You also have other things like free professional email. This, again, would have to be a separate plan. So I find this really interesting in general. And so there are a number of things that actually you get on top of what you get with other platforms. So price-wise, Hostinger Horizon seems to be quite legitimately cheaper than other platforms. In terms of performance, I'm really happy with what I've seen so far. There are a couple additional things that I would have liked to see. So let's talk about those now. Inside of the editor. So the first thing I would like to see is basically to be able to connect it to GitHub, or to download my repository, meaning to download all the code that I've generated here. Another little detail would be basically to be able to, at the bottom here, have something that optimizes your prompts. That can sometimes be helpful. Honestly, I'm not sure that that has helped me so much in the past. Another thing that would have been good for me is to kind of like have it tell me the database structuring that it did. Now, one of the errors that happened is that it didn't sync very well with the tables. I had to kind of like troubleshoot that. So, you know, the integration with Supabase could be improved. But man, I'm like really happy with this. Remember that this is like the worst version of this platform that you'll see. So it's definitely going to be a part of my arsenal. Definitely something that I would recommend people check out. You can check out the link below. I believe that they're also giving me a discount for you guys, so you should check that out as well. The most exciting thing for me is that these AI platforms are just at the beginning. They will literally never get worse than they currently are now. So imagine what that looks like. And AI coding is actually a huge opportunity right now. You have non-technical people who are building agencies, creating products for other people, leveraging AI coding, who don't have any coding experience. And building apps and selling them is absolutely amazing. But guess what we also need to learn? How to actually get customers. So that's why I highly recommend that you check out this video. It's gonna go through a step-by-step process that you can use to get and close customers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe. Let's go.